And I thought that was very strange that, that had happened simultaneously with the poof.
Yeah.
So I went back to sleep and tried to, retain whatever I could of my composure at the age of 3.
Indeed. Listen, can you hold? We've got to do a quick
I will
break.
hold.
All right, good. Stay right where you are. A seductive ghost, huh? Well, as they go, that might be all right. From the high desert, this is Ghost to Ghost AM. And, of course, I'm Art Bell. Stay right there.
This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell from the Kingdom of Nye.
A little thing called Ghost to Ghost AM, which will continue in just a moment. Obviously, not everybody has had an experience with an entity, but as you can clearly see as you listen this morning, enough people have in enough ways that it merits your attention, if purely from nothing more than an investigative point of view. It merits your listening because so many people have, and what it means. Good morning. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air.
Hi, am I on the air?
You are indeed.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm calling from Davenport, Iowa. Originally I'm from New York. I still live out there, actually. I came out here visiting a friend, and the place where they live in is haunted. I just started listening to the show actually earlier this week. It's a great show. I like it. Very interesting. A lot of interesting stuff. And a very weird thing happened the other night. First of all, can ghosts sense fear?
Can ghosts sense fear? I've got to give you an honest answer, sir. Of course, I don't know. I would guess yes. It's just a guess.
Because I don't know. I listened to the show and kind of like all the ghost talk, especially since they told me this place is haunted, and I mean.
So tell me what happened to you.
All right, the other night, right, I was listening to the show. It was like 4 a.m. Phone rang. One ring, then I hear a voice out of the.
First-time callers, area code 775-727-1222.
All right, well, he used some language that we cannot use on the air, so that's it for him. I understand that you're involved in the stories that you're telling, but if you use language that's not airable, well, then you won't be on the air. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes, sir. Hi. What is your first name, please?
My name is Bob. I'm calling from West Dundee, Illinois.
All right, Bob.
Listening to you from WLS out of Chicago.
Of course.
And I seen my father's soul leave his body.
You saw his soul leave his body?
Yes, sir, I did.
How did this happen?
Well, in 1997, he was diagnosed with cancer, and I took 2 months off of work to go down and spend some time with him, and did not expect to bury him.
Yeah.
But the cancer progressed very, very quickly. And my parents were married for 47 years, and my mother was obviously a basket case, so I took over as primary caregiver. Our whole family was down there.
That's a tough job.
It really is. It takes a lot out of you.
You bet.
I have a niece. At the time, she was 5. An older niece. At the time, she was 13. And my sister lives down there. We were all at his bedside. I was holding his left hand. My mother was holding his right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the others were gathered around. And when he took his last breath, I said, "He is gone." And the youngest one, the 5-year-old, ran out of the room, hysterical. "He's dead. He's dead." Mm-hmm. I sent the older child out to calm her down, and my mother left the room, trying, to calm down the young child. And my sister and I were just in the room alone, and she was just, just crying hysterically. And just then, not even maybe 30 seconds after he had passed, I noticed what looked like smoke coming from his chest, but it was more formed. was probably, I would say, about 3 inches long and about 1 inch wide. And it floated, not dissipating at all, until it hit the door of the bedroom, which was probably about 8 foot away from the bed. And once it hit the door, it just dissipated.
What was it like seeing something like that? I mean, that would freeze me. I think it would freeze me in fear.
Well, the most surprising thing, I wasn't afraid. I think the most thing that shocked me, not seeing it, didn't really shock me. What really surprised me is the size of it, of how small it was. It was just very small.
This may surprise you, or maybe it won't surprise you, but I've talked to people who have actually felt a soul move through them. A lot of, as you were, a lot of people are close to dying people. Many times they're even over them, hugging them. And I've talked to people who have actually felt a soul move through them as that other person died. In your case, you saw that soul.
Yes, I did.
What's that done to your belief system? I mean...
Well, I've always believed in God. I was engaged at the time, and I wasn't really, I believed in God, but I wasn't going to church. My wife is a very religious woman, and after that, I made it a point to get back to church every Sunday and finish my sacraments.
I guess that would make sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Rand, have a good night. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Once you have an absolute belief, of course, religions depend on this. I mean, I'm told that we are controlled by religion, that we're kept in check by religion, that we don't misbehave because of faith and religion, and we don't go out and do dirty deeds and that sort of thing, right? Because of religion. It keeps us in check. But you can see how it would. And if you absolutely believed, you more or less would behave yourself. If you didn't believe in a hereafter, well, then what difference, I suppose, some would say, does it make what you do when you're here? Because there's really no ultimate reward or punishment when you're gone. So that serves the religions, to be sure. And maybe it serves us. And maybe, of course, it's true. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art. This is Sarah in Omaha.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you.
Good. I'm listening to you on KFAB 1110.
Oh, the big monster there in the west.
Yeah. I have a ghost story for you.
All right, that's what we're here for.
Okay. When my daughter was a little girl, we lived in a big house in, it was a big brick house in Cleveland, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And what happened was that she kept getting out of her crib all the time. And she was about 18 months old. And she would get out in the middle of the night and go and play on the staircase. And I'd hear her laughing in the night, and I'd get up and go back down and get her and put her to bed. And she'd always have some toys around her. So anyway, on this particular night, we had some people over from out of town, some friends of ours. And we didn't have a guest room for them to sleep in. So we used to have people just sleep downstairs in the living room, would make arrangements for them to sleep down there. And this staircase opened up on the living room. It was a big house, and the staircase was an open staircase, and you could see through the staircase from the living room.
Right.
Anyway, so everybody went to sleep, and everything was fine, and we woke up the next morning, and we were kind of in the kitchen eating breakfast and everything, and they were talking about how cute our kids were. And I said, when did you meet, my daughter? And they said, oh, well, last night they were playing on the stairs. And I said, well, was it, early in the morning? Because sometimes she gets up and crawls out of her crib and everything.
Yes.
And they said, well, it was really cute how your son led her back upstairs and, looked like he was going to put her back to bed. And I said, well, I don't have a son. I just have the one daughter. And they looked at each other, and I looked at my husband, and we go, you know, it's kind of strange that you saw two children.
Yes.
And they go, yeah, we saw two children playing on the stairs. And I said, well, that's impossible, you know, because we just have the one child.
Right.
And so we kind of, at that point, realized that they'd seen two children. And after that, I was always, you know, thinking that maybe she had a little playmate in the middle of the night that she got up to go play with. And so...
And the playmate took her back to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Let
right.
her back upstairs.
Got you. Thank you very much. Well, there you are. What do you make of that? The prospect of children as ghosts is very disturbing, and so when we have the EVP people here, we're constantly getting the voice. Too many times we're getting the voice of children that appear to be on the other side, commenting on various things, but their little voices are unmistakable. These are children. That would mean that... What do we have here? Do we have two parallel worlds that intersect at time to time, from time to time? Is that what we have? Do we have a world where one little child might save the life of another child by leading her to safety, or that the invisible playmates maybe are visible to those who are claiming to see them? West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Hello. Going once. Going twice. Gone. International line, you're on the air. Hello. Hello there. Going once. Going twice. Gone. On the guest line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, I had previously submitted a story relative to the seductive ghost.
Oh, yes.
And I think that you were going to get back with me.
I was and omitted you. I'm sorry. And you had a sort of a... we hadn't finished. You had a poke in the eye.
Well, she had appeared to me, and then I had approached her, taken a step or two forward, and then she poofed, vanished, and then I had a very sharp pain in my left eye. I went back to bed. Subsequent to that, years had gone by. In the early 60s, I had developed eye problem. I had to get glasses, so I went to the ophthalmologist, and he was examining my eyes, and he noticed that I had a strange geometric mark in my left pupil. He had never seen anything quite like that in a child before, so he had asked me, how I got that, and of course I was somewhat hesitant to relate anything as to the details of that whole, incident. But it turns out that 50 years later, I still have the mark of this particular ghost as evidenced in my pupil in the form of a triangle. I had LASIK surgery about 4 years ago, and once again, I was examined by an ophthalmologist, and they were scrutinizing the triangle in my left pupil, wanting to know what it was.
Sure.
But that's it. Basically, I don't dwell on the thing, but for some reason, when she exited her dimension, she apparently went through my eye and left a mark.
I appreciate the story.
Thank you.
Thank you, and take care. So... That's another dimension entirely, and that is ghost stories where there is something that happened to you, some physical something that happened to you. In that case, his marred eye as a real thing for people to examine and see, and he knew when it happened, and it was a good-looking ghost.